My mother and father came to Chicago during the Great Migration. It was at a time when very few jobs were given to black people. We were a poor family, dirt poor. Sometimes we went to bed hungry.
He was not accepted the first time that he applied at Doane. Bob took that rejection letter in Chicago, started all those contacts that he is so great at building bridges.
Our hearts dropped. They denied us admission to Doane College because we were black. And the dean of students at that time said, you cannot come because we couldn't find any white students that wanted to live a room with black students.
2 months later, got a welcoming letter with the names and addresses of their new roommates. And that new roommate was Donald Goodrich, my father.
Imagine the courage that took to still come to a place that said, you do not belong here, and still come here and graduate as the first black student at Doane.
When I speak about tight little island where we lived, where all the blacks lived, it was a place where we could live and move and have our way of life without being put aside by white people. And yet everything that was important in that town, that community, was owned by white people.
I don't think our country does enough to set up opportunities for questioning your own values. But being able to step back and say, you know what, maybe the way I view the world isn't exactly how the world really is.
I really believe the lectureship became to be because Dr. Polk was relentless. America and Doane and surrounding places continue to be fractured, fragmented, and frail. And if we don't create a space where we can have braver conversations, it's not going to make a difference.
It allows conversations to start. And I think that any change making in this world starts with conversations. It starts when people come together, and also gives an opportunity to think and self-reflect about where am I in this journey to becoming an inclusive leader. And that's exactly what the Polk Lectureship does.
There was always some conversation at our table about race relations, changing, helping churches in suburbia and downtown Chicago change its standards about race.
The lectureship is an invitation to think more critically. We don't want a student to go away saying, I was never aware of any racial tension.
Here is the microcosm that provides a platform to explore with different ideas, different concepts, with people from different upbringings and experiences and worldviews. And if you're able to do that here and engage with differences in a productive manner, not only are you going to be a better leader, you're also going to be part of keeping the peace in this world.
It gives people a different perspective, and it lets people walk in other people's shoes when they've never had that time before. And all of a sudden you're sitting there going, wow, I never had to worry about walking down the street at 9 o'clock and being pulled over by the cops because I was in a good neighborhood and my skin color was a different color than white. And knowing what some people have had to endure makes me much more open and makes our students more open to maybe they're reacting this way for a reason.
That deconstructs some of the stereotypical images that they have about folks who look like me, that they see beyond the melanin, but they see the intellect. And then they begin to, in their mind, formulate their own action plan, recognizing that it is doable, trying to center themselves as future change agents and not to run from the truth.
You know, all they needed was the exposure, that I was the first black student to graduate from Doane.
And for students to realize he was first. And so how can I live up to that legacy, knowing that my being admitted here looked totally different from his, but I am here, and how am I going to make the most of it as he did?
We felt a bit out of place because we had bad experiences with white people. You know, it wasn't long before they accepted us and we accepted them. The world, in a sense, opened up to us. That's my story.